Hey guys, Saturday morning. We're headed down to New England Muscle Cars. We're gonna hopefully get the 69 GMC running today. We're driving the Avalanche, doing some data logging. But first, of course, we're going to Dunkin' Donuts. Looks like I gotta do some rearranging first before I can start. All right, be back in a second. All right, here we go. Beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. Not really, it's got a thunderstorm again. Probably should not stand in front of the fan. I didn't learn from last video. So, we got some stuff to do today. Fuel pump, power and ground. Fuel sender, signal and ground. We're gonna get those hooked up, run into my wires. We have some wires run up front, so I have to get this purple, this red, and this pink over to this side over here. Red's going to my fuse block, pink is my ignition power, purple is my starter solenoid. I'm going to clean up this stuff, get this all over here and good. I've got to pull this pressure switch out, install, if I can get out of the package, this trinary switch, same one we always use. It just controls by pressure feed your cooling fan and AC compressor by the AC pressure. It's a beautiful thing. We've got my Cat 6 cable, or Cat 5 cables actually, 6-foot ones, to run inside to the cluster from the Dakota Digital. Also just realized I forgot my vacuum hose to run the map sensor signal at work. Can make it work without it for now. Let's see, what else do we have? Got a bunch of cleanup and hurry up stuff now. All this wiring here for the Dakota Digital, this is going to be hooked up today. What is this wiring? Oh, so this is my other, I forgot about that, my main power feed for the Holly stuff inside. Fuel pump relay, I gotta find my relays. We're gonna mount the relays right back here. All right, let me get started. First I'm gonna route some stuff around, get the wires where I want them to go, and then we're gonna go over there. I'm gonna grab some nice 4-gauge battery cable, and we're gonna start making some cables. Okay, first things first. I got these tied up here temporarily. This is all your main front wiring, lights, horns, all that crap. There is no good pass-through big enough to fit both of those through, so we're going to drill 2 of them. I don't want to pass them obviously through the headlight bucket, because there's the backside of a headlight that's going to go through there. This is pretty much closed off all the way through there. There's no good way to do it underneath without hanging down. So we're gonna do a couple of holes right here, and I'm gonna run it in the inside real tight here, and then out here across to where it has to go. There is so much slack in this stuff that I could literally run them over here and there'd still be enough slack to power the driver's side lights and stuff. So I'm gonna put a couple holes in here, run these harnesses through, and start laying out some wiring in the front. All right, those are drilled. Touched them up with some trim black after I cleaned all the burrs off. So we're gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna run the wires inside. Oh, also the glass is in. Just noticed that. The back window as well. Looks like it. It is. So this is gonna be nice and toasty in there. I'm gonna have to open that door so I can get some air from that fan. So everything but my vacuum hose to my map sensor is now run, and we're done under here besides that. I also mounted the ignition switch in there, tied up and cleaned up some wires, ran the handheld up into the glove box because we're going to mount it up in the glove box somewhere here. These are the rear wires. They still have to be run. I'm going to do that today and get them down this frame rail out to there. Right now I'm going to consolidate all the wires because I'm going to pull this harness apart, get whatever lighting I need that has to be on the inside here or there, run everything else across the front. Then I'm going to pull this battery out and start making my battery cables to hook everything up. We're going to do power side first and then the ground. I like doing it that way so that in case I'm an idiot and I accidentally rub a power wire somewhere off of here, I don't have the ground hooked up, so I'm not going to weld it to the vehicle. Okay, an hour later, I got the front wiring straightened out. So it turns out when they wrapped the harness up, they wrapped up all my stuff for my driver's side lights, mainly the headlights and the parking light, all the way over into the end going into the passenger side. So I had to completely unwrap that whole harness, reroute everything, rewrap everything. Now I'm ready to start on my battery cables. All right, moving right along. We're gonna do some crimping here. So what I've got is a 4-gauge battery ground, of course a 4-gauge terminal end on it too. This is going to go from the battery to the block, and then I will have one on the other side of the engine that goes from the block to the frame. So there we go, nice clean connection. Now we're going to be right back. Slide some heat shrink over it, shrink it down, put it up on the car. So you might see spaghetti. I also see spaghetti because I'm hungry right now, but I also see organization. This is where it gets tedious. So I've got my starter wire run up through here. It's got to go to this junction. Now obviously I'm not getting those crimps in here to do this, so I got to mark it, slide it back down through, do the crimp, do the heat shrink, and then slide it back up, and it's going to go to this bottom one over here. So I'm actually going to make that a little bit longer, so we're going to go about 2 inches longer on that. And ground, same thing, but it's obviously not going to there, it's going to the top of the battery. So we're almost ready. I gotta get that one to that stud, and then this stud to the top of the battery. And then, like I said before, this one goes to the alternator, this one goes to the main power that powers the internal fuse block, or the inside fuse block. Main battery from starter to junction block is terminated, so now we're going to run that back up there and tighten that into that junction. We are power in, power out. So I've got to go dig my relays out and find them so I can mount them up here, and I'm going to start running the wires to this stuff, my main alternator wire and the other one to the fuse block. So the fuse block one, I believe, yeah, so the fuse block one will be long enough. The starter solenoid wire I will have to lengthen because it's got to still run all the way down there. The ignition power for all the fused stuff obviously is not long enough, but we're going to lengthen that. And then I'm going to tie everything all up neat here. I'm going to drill probably one more hole here to run this through here, just like I ran it out through there, keep it all uniform. Then I'm going to wire up my relays. Remember, we're going to have fuel pump and cooling fan. I can wire up my trinary switch. And then we can put the battery in, and once the battery's in, I can put the terminals on top and terminate my two big mains. And then I use the side posts on the Optima battery for all my other stuff. So this is going to be for the Holley and inside power stuff, the vintage air stuff. I think that's all I need to really run off of power. I just got freaked out because I was like, why is there a spare connector here? But I forgot that just has to go down back. That's for the O2 sensor. We're getting there. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. You know what's super amazing? When you get right into work and you're hammering stuff out and you totally forget you had a breakfast sandwich over there you didn't eat yet. It's cold, but it still tastes good, so I'm gonna eat it. We are cruising right along. I'm over here listening to some T Swift, because you know that's how I like to roll. I had to take a break because I am dying. It's let's see, it's the temp, it's only 82, but it's also about 182% humidity right now. I'm not built for this crap anymore. After the last 2 years finally working in a shop with AC, after, let's see, it was 25 years or so before that with no AC, my body was adjusted to it. Now it's readjusted to being a pampered candy ass, so this hot weather is killing me. Alternator wire, we're on. All I have left to hook up to this junction block is my power feed for my internal fuse block. This is where it starts picking up. We start getting stuff done, and you can actually visually see things being accomplished. Unfortunately, I cannot find where the hell my relays are for my fuel pump and my cooling fan. I can move forward without doing that, but because they're going here behind the battery, I don't want to hook everything up and put the battery in just to have to pull it back out again when I find them. I would rather get them done now so I can start wiring them. But if it comes to that, that's what I'm going to do, so at least I can turn the key on and have everything power up. I lengthened my purple and my pink wire for my ignition switched and my solenoid for the starter. I'm trying to find wire loom so I can continue the wire loom all the way over here too. I seem to be having an issue finding things today for every day, like happiness and money and so on, and I gotta check. I haven't checked yet. I know nobody won it because it's up to 1 billion now, but I haven't checked my Mega Millions tickets yet. Maybe I matched 5 numbers and I can get $1 million, just maybe. It would be nice, you know. Main power is on, so this is down to the block. I still have to run one off of here to the body, and then I'm going to run one off the other side of the block to the frame. Now I'm going to start going through all this stuff and putting powers and grounds that are in here on here and here to power everything inside. And then I have to, I'm trying not to run my red wire through here to go to there, because I really want to have that loomed and finish wrapped beforehand, because shortly after I get done doing all this stuff in front, this bright shiny brand new grill is going to go on it. Look at that thing. They don't make them like that anymore. Beautiful. And they have all the headlights and stuff over there on that desk, and all that stuff's going to go in. So I'm still searching around for 2 relays and 1 piece of loom. Thinking ahead and trinary switch wiring. So, thinking ahead, here's my power, my 2 grounds. Let me put the camera over here. My power, 2 grounds for the Vintage Air. This is my fan turn on from the Holly, my fuel pump turn on from the Holly, my AC compressor turn on from the Vintage Air. So the way this stuff gets wired, we'll do this first here. This is a switched power to trigger a relay. This is a switched ground to trigger the fan. This is also a, shoot, let me check. I can't remember if that's switched power or ground. That is right here, AC turn on. Oh, it's a switched power. So power goes in to the black and green. There's 2 black and green and 2 blue wires on this trinary switch. Doesn't matter which direction it goes, it's multi-direction. So that blue wire goes to a black and green. The other black and green goes to the AC compressor. One of the blues goes directly to ground. The other blue comes over here. Now this is where all my ground triggers play in. So this white, will say, is my turn on from the Holly. So that is going to go in there, as well as this other blue that comes from the trinary switch. So both the one from the trinary switch and the one from the Holly are switched grounds. So that means our other wire, we got power in and out from the fan relay, obviously, but our other wire going in will have to be a 12-volt ignition, so that the fans will run only when the key is on. That is about the gist of it. That's simple mode for wiring up vintage air with Holley into a new, completely new setup. Which brings me over to my plan ahead section that I totally skipped over and started walking back over there to get more terminals and wires. So the cooling fan relay will have main power in and out off of the positive. So I'm going to make a lead to go over to there in the general area, since we don't have the relay over there yet. The other one for the fuel pump will also have power in and out coming off of this. So basically I like to run 2 leads and run them both over to those relays, and then off of those down underneath I have tucked the wire I ran for my fuel pump. So that's going to come up and go to the other side of that fuel pump relay. The wires for the fan are just going to go back out on the other side of this and down to my fan connector down there. The main difference between these two setups, or these two relays, is one of them is a switched ground, which is the fan. The other one is a switched power, which is the fuel pump. So as long as you get those wires correct, you're good to go. Front wiring done. I'm going to start on the trinary switch, but I really want to find these relays, because then I could have it all done. Everything is hooked up to my junction block now. We're good to go. My ignition power here to power 1 relay. My other wires are temporarily run out there because I'm just tying and cleaning everything up. As it sits right now, I could put the battery in and turn the key on and everything would power up. But I really want to get those relays done because they go here, and I don't want to take the battery out again. I like finishing stuff and having it done and not have to go back and take stuff out again after. And then my purple wire for my starter is run down here. I have to cleanly run that down there. And then we're going to clearance this inner fender out so it's not so close to these wires, and then loom all those up and J-hook them to the frame and whatnot. All right. On we go. Oh, sweet Jesus. Found my relays sitting up the top of this baker's rack up here. I was expecting them to be in a cardboard box or something from Summit, because that's where we got them from, but they were just loosely sitting up there, so I glanced by them like 3 times. All right, time to mount these things over there and wire some stuff up. Sorry, wire some more stuff up. So relays were found. We're mounting them right here, and here's what I'm going to do. So like I told you before, one of these blue wires on this trinary switch is ground, and one of these relays is a switched power and a switched ground. So the one that is a switched power is going to have a full-time ground. So this bolt, I'm going to make a wire to go to this bolt to body ground here. Also, that relay, I'm going to ground one of those leads, the one that has to be grounded, to that bolt, as well as my body ground is going to come around here and ground to that bolt too, because all these wires are going to run here and be loomed, and then they go straight down and they go through this hole inside. So that worked out magnifique. I'm happy with that. Nice and tight and clean up there. The battery's going to hide all that. I can start hooking all this crap up. This side, I still got to cut this to length. It's not to length right now, but you don't even know it's there, which is beautiful. And it gives me my body ground on the other side, which is going to come around here to the other side of the battery. Sometimes the plan just works out. Okay, it's been a long day, and it's only like, I don't know, 12:31. Even the boat guys went home early, or earlier than me. I believe we're all set to go, so let's see what we got here. I'm gonna key it on. Oh, we are powered. VIM's powered. Dakota Digital's powered. Holley's powered. Let's see, it's not going to start. Still no fuel. I still haven't hooked up the fuel pump wires. I've just got the front half of it done, but it should crank. It cranks. Well, that's a wrap for today. I got a whole bunch of stuff done. It cranks. Everything powers up. The only wiring I got left in the engine bay now is this yellow turn-on wire for the alternator. I think what I'm going to do is run it under the intake, back and over, and into my 12-volt ignition over here, because that's all that needs. It just needs to be powered when the vehicle is actually running. That turns the alternator on. I somehow lost a handle to my wire strippers. That's no fun. I pulled all the slack I had for, hold on, I'm shutting this fan off. There we go. I pulled back all the slack I had from my fuel pump wire. My gray wire, the fuel level sender, I'm not going to pull back until after we get the rear lighting wires run down here, because the circuit for the fuel level sender is in those wires. Other than that, I think I'm good to go. I don't know if you can hear, but the avalanche is out here rumping around. It's running mint, no leaks. I'll see today. The only issue I think I had was, I think on hard acceleration, it was ramping the engine up, and the drive shaft, the front drive shaft, I think was hitting the Y pipe. That's the noise I was hearing. We're doing a little speed density tuning right now, and I think this is probably going to be the last drive doing speed density. So I've done 3 drives, and I've pretty much got it down to within plus or minus 2% on my air fuels. And so after I get home doing this one, just to verify everything, all it really takes is 1 drive to do a MAF curve. They're pretty easy. I'm thinking in my spare time I might do a Gen 4 LS little tuning and setup video. Something like you put a cam in it and you're trying to get it to idle, or you eliminated DOD and you want to tune it out, and then your basic fueling histograms so you can do some air fuel. But I'm gonna go jump in that tank and go home. I'm not gonna get food tonight, or yet when I get home, because I am going out tonight to eat. Bike is still for sale. I believe next weekend, unless I'm going stupid again, is the 5th. I have a golf tournament that I'm working on that one, so I won't be here working on the Chevy or the GMC. But the next time I'm here, we should be running. We should be good and running. They still have to do power steering lines. There's still a bunch of fittings on the AC that need to be crimped. All the heater hoses and radiator hoses need to be clamped. I still haven't closed off and buried these yet. Oh, they got the coil harnesses in, so those are good. So we have spark now. And that map sensor vacuum hose, that's really the only thing I got to run inside now. Other than that, I think we're good to go. It's hot. I'm sweating. I'm gonna take a cold shower and sit in my 68-degree AC with my dogs and hang out for a couple hours before I go out to have some sushi and martinis, because I'm fancy like that. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.